Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our weekly Wednesday webinar, which of course is the ESS one hosted by Karl and myself, Tshidi. Just going to show my face for a bit, and then I'm going to switch off my camera for me to carry on with the presentation. So in today's webinar, we're actually going to be discussing what is ESS. How does ESS work to make our life easier within the organization? The cost of ESS, benefits of ESS, and when we're still communicating about ESS, we're going to do demo for you guys so that you understand how does ESS actually work. And at the end of it, we're going to have question times. And what I normally do when I do webinars, I'd appreciate if people raise up their hands and then we allow them to speak because I would like for us to communicate. But no pressure. If you feel like, okay, no, I just want to type, you just type and then we'll be able to answer your questions. With that being said, today we have the best in the game, I must say. I have my technical guy because most of the time when I'm dealing with my clients be like, I'm dealing with some technical issues. Then I'll tell them, you know what, let me just escalate the matter to our payroll support or technical team. So today we have that person in the house. Without wasting any time, so ESS consists out of two things, which is ESS and MSS. Of course, ESS is employee self-service, while MSS is manager self-service. Remember, not everyone within the organization must have MSS. It's only for the director or the line manager if this company got different kinds of line managers. As little as 22.50 per month, excluding VAT, with every employee. Remember, with ESS, you cannot report to more than one person, or you cannot report to someone that reports under you. With that being said, that's where the external access comes in. What do I mean by that? Let's say this company is that company with a director and HR manager and all general workers, and everyone reports under the director. For the payroll sake, we need to have someone that actually will approve the director's leave. Now, remember what I said. I said you cannot report to someone that reports under you. So now who's going to be approving the director's leave? That's whereby the external access comes in. So we're gonna we normally advise the people, the company that, you know what, let the HR manager also have the external user access. So how does the external user access work? Is that we do not have the same email address on one system. Let's say, for example, the company is hr@waterproof.co.za. The system already recognized that email. So the company, it's either they're going to have something like hr1@waterproof.co.za, or the HR manager can use their Gmail account to approve the leave for the director. Remember, the only time you can use that external user access is when you're going to approve the director's leave. That's it. But if you want to do anything regarding ESS that we're going to be talking about when we still continue with the presentation, or you want to apply for your leave, you need to use your personal ESS profile. One huge advantage of it is it's mobile friendly. Because I'm a person that like using examples. So let's say your company is one of those street companies where, like, for you to take leave, it needs to be approved. And you decided to take 5 days, and then maybe you took a family vacation. Maybe on your family vacation, on your third day, you're like, no, man, I'm actually enjoying where I am today. So like you don't have to go back to the office and ask the director or the HR manager or call them. What you can just do is like apply for leave on your phone. It's up to the director or the HR manager with if they decline the leave or not. That's why I'm saying it's mobile friendly. And another advantage of it is there's no app for this. So people are like, but I don't have space on my phone. No, you don't need no app for this. So what you need, we're gonna send you the link or you visit our website so that you'll be able to access our ESS profile. In terms of notification, remember every single time when you apply for leave or your leave is getting rejected or it has been approved, both you and your line managers will get the notification stating, the first one will state requested. As soon as the line manager gets to approve it, it will come as approved. Or if they reject it, it will come as rejected. I'm just gonna also share how does the front page of our ESS actually looks like so that we get to understand much better. This is how our ESS looks like. Of course, with your email address, the password, and of course, the forgot password option. Remember, the only time we can go on forgot password is when email address we have here on top is the one that we have both on our ESS side and our payroll side. Because most of the time, if you have your Gmail account, let's say you have your Gmail account on your payroll side and you have the company's email address on ESS side. When we reset password, sometimes the system gets confused. Like, should I send it to the Gmail account or should I send it to the company's email account? Sometimes it end up that you don't even get it. So we always advise that every single time, please make sure that the email address that you have is the same as the one we have on both ESS and payroll side. And most of the time when you try and log, let's say, for example, you forgot your password more than 4 times, the system will block you. And please contact us at ess@hrtalk.co.za so that you'll be able to help you reset a new password. And then when you log in, before you log in, let's say now you're having a problem with you want us to reset a password for you. So you're gonna get something like this when we reset a password for you. You're gonna get something more of like this. When we reset a password, you're gonna get something like this, showing this is how you need to reset your password. If you can see here, if you're gonna read with me, is 1, 2.
Tshidi,
So
we can't see Tshidi, sorry, we can't see your screen, your email. We're only seeing the login screen.
Okay, cool. Let me just try and share. Thank you, Karl. Can you guys see it now? Thank you. So most of the time when we reset the password for you, this is how it looks like with this, which is temporary password with different numbers, alphabets, and all of that. So most of the time, I always tell my client, please make sure that you copy this, all of it. You're gonna copy it, right? And then after copying that, you also gonna paste it to, you're gonna paste it here. So as soon as you paste it, you please make sure that you count how many numbers or characters or whatever that you have. If it happens that if maybe on that side where you got a temporary password, you have more like 10 of them. At this side, when you read your dots, you have 11 of them. It's because at the end, you didn't recognize that there's a space. And on that side, it's going to be counted as the password as well. Make sure that you delete the last one so that you'll be able to log in. So when you log in, you're also going to get something like this. Let me share the picture again. Sorry about that. You're going to get something like this that confirms that you are about to reset your password. And you're going to click on the thing So reset. So when you reset it, you also gonna get something again like this. I'm still sharing the screen. Sorry about that. You're gonna get something like this, which is where you're gonna be putting your new password and then confirming it. As soon as you confirm it, then you're gonna be able to log in on your ESS. I think that's it from me. I'll hand over to Karl.
Good morning, everybody. So this morning, I'm going to run you through the different flavors of ESS. There are, depending on which software you're running on or which software you prefer to utilize, we're going to be running through 3 different versions, flavors, or whatever you would like to call them. And that is the CyberWorks one. We're going to have a look at the Payspace one, as well as Sage's WebSS. Just a little bit of background between those 3 pieces of software. Cybers and Payspaces are integrated database. In other words, when you change somebody's surname, there doesn't need to be a sync or anything along those lines. The system automatically knows about that information and it displays it. So in essence, both of those pieces of software use their WebSS or their employee self-service as a window on their main data. Sage's one's a little different. It uses a slightly different technology in that it requires a sync. You can automate those syncs to happen, whenever you want them to, but they then populate through to the WebSS. So you're getting a slightly offline, in inverted commas, view of your data. It does all sync up nicely. They do all work. It's just slightly different methodologies in how they do it. Payspace has also extended theirs a little. And what they've done is they've allowed, or they have provided a additional set of features that run under WhatsApp, and they call that a specific piece of software Paysafe, and that allows users to, with the end user, so the employees, managers, that sort of thing, to be able to use WhatsApp to do certain basic functions. So they can get a payslip, they can apply for leave, they can submit a claim, and they can view their leave balances and their personal information based on queries that you send forwards and backwards through Paysafe. No, I'm not sharing my screen just yet. I will get to that in a second. And then moving on from there, so that is viewing our personal information. So now we'll get into the sharing part of it, where we will start to share the actual visuals. So unfortunately, with the WhatsApp conversations, I can't really show those on screen, but what we can do is just run through the other flavors of the software. So as Tshidi showed you, this is the Psiber login screen. We can log into our software. It does have SSO, so a single sign-on. So if your company subscribes to SSO, you can use that scenario where you wouldn't need to log in here. My session has expired. Let's try that again. There we go. Okay, so on screen, we could see this either on a cell phone or we can see it on screen. There's a number of tiles. Now, this system is config-based. So what you see on screen is defined by what you want to let your employees see. Not sharing yet. Oh, where's that gone? Let's try that again. That's great. There we go. Now it's showing. Terribly sorry about that. Okay, so as you can see on screen, there's a number of tiles. Sorry, you guys didn't see it, so let me take you back one step. Let's log out and just log in again. So as Tshidi showed you, this is our login screen, and then you also have SSO enabled. So if your company has single sign-on through Azure or one of those services, you can actually log in with that on the Psiber Payspace, on the Psiber login. But let's log in. The system is config-based, so what you see on screen can be limited or allowed based on what you would like your configuration on the system to be. If we start off from the most basic things, we want to do an employee self-service system. We want to make the employee's life easier. So we want to be able to give them a portal where they can grab a payslip, where they can get a tax certificate, where they can apply for leave or check what their leave balances are. So let's start off there. We go into our leave management. We've got apply for leave. We've got our leave balances. So we can go and have a look at what our balances are of our different leave types. So there we can see we've got annual leave, we've got family responsibility and other leave types down lower down. we go back, we can also apply for leave. So we can go in here, we can select which type of leave we would like. We can enter a from and to date. We've got a little calendar updater. And if it's a half day, we can click on the half day button and it will then change it to 0.25. If your company allows fractional leave, we can allow that as well. So the guy can take a quarter a day or 1.25, which is 1 hour, if you work 8 hours a day. And then we can update it. As soon as it gets updated, which we're not going to do in the demo system, the manager will receive a notification similar to this one over here. Just got to get that out of the way. Similar to this one over here, where they can then go and approve or reject the leave. And again, the notification will go back straight away to the employee based on what that action is. Not only do those notifications come in via the system, so you don't necessarily need to be logged in, you also will receive an email notification of that. Okay. We also can have a look at our history, so the employee can have a look at their history. And if I go to my people, I can get to anybody who reports to me, select the person, and then I can see all of their leave as well. So if for whatever reason I needed to put in some sick leave for somebody who's incapacitated, I could do that on their behalf. All right. How do we get to our pay slips, our financial information? Well, we go to financials, and then we have two options. We have pay slips and tax certificates. We open up our pay slips. Remember now that I've changed myself to be working on somebody else. So I actually don't want that. I want to switch back to my profile. Now I'm back as manager. And when I open up my list of payslips, all the payslips that are on the system for me since the beginning of time, showing my age since Paul fell off the bus, are available to the individual to select and download. So if I select one and I say generate my payslip, it's going to come up. The system is now going to send me the payslip, but based on the system settings, it will first check whether I have a password enabled. And if it does, it's going to ask me for the password. Okay, so you can't download it if you don't know the password, you can't email it on, you can't do anything with it unless you know what your password is here. Okay, so I'm not going to do that right now, and we're going to close that screen out. Similarly, we can do the same sort of thing if we want to go back and have a look at our tax certificates. And again, it's a very similar sort of screen. We go and select our tax certificate that's available, generate, and it does the same idea. If you don't have a password, you won't be able to view it. So that's quite nice from that side. Other bits and pieces that are here that are available on our different systems, we can enable certain claims. So payment request. So somebody has a travel claim, they have a claim for some sort of reimbursement, they can be entered directly in the system. When these claims follow their normal workflow procedure through the line managers, they will automatically be in payroll. So once they've been approved, they can be in payroll. So there's no need for dollar capture. Okay. Again, this is all config based. So, you don't just open your payroll up to everybody. It's dependent on what you've allowed and the workflow that you have requested to be put in. Moving on from there, we can go and have a look at your own personal information. So for argument's sake, I can go here to my personal information. I can go and check that you've got my correct address, that my details are all right, and then either request a change to them, or if your company allows it, make that change directly on the system. We do seem to be running a little bit slow today. Here we go. Geez, there seems to be a network issue. Refresh that screen. There we go, that's better. Okay, so there you can see there's all our personal information. It's all there, names, addresses, emails, all those sort of fun things. And under the personal information, you have a number of sectors. So you've got your email addresses, you've got spousal information, you've got contact information. So this might be really important. You may want to have next of kin details here or emergency contact details to allow the people, allow you to be able to contact if there is something that is urgent. All right. Based on the rest of these tiles, that's the word I'm looking for. Based on the rest of the tiles, there are a number of areas where you can actually also get information into the system. So for argument's sake, loans and savings, assets and equipment, so that people could request PPE. They can record any gifts that they may have been given, especially useful if you have people who are on the road and are sales rep and somebody gives them something, they really should be logging those from a taxation perspective. My people allows me to have a look at the people that report to me. My dashboard takes me back just to the single screen, which gives me a little breakdown of all the bits and pieces from my team. And that's pretty much, in a very quick nutshell, the Psiber flavor of employee self-service. And really straightforward, quite easy to use, not terribly difficult. Tshidi, I see your hand is up.
Thank you, Karl. Can you please also go through when the line manager needs to approve or leave the bell up there?
Yeah, so if there is a line manager approval required, so on this side here, you can see there's some performance appraisals that have come through from various people. And on this side, you can see a leave request that has come through. And now at this stage, I can either approve the request as the manager, or I can reject the request. And that's the flow of the data. As soon as I click on approve here, an email will be generated and sent back to, this one is for Vanessa, be sent back to Vanessa to say your leave has been approved, as well as a system notification going back to her as well. So if we went back into Vanessa's profile and we went to her little notification bar, she would then see the approved notification as well. Under our little burger menu, we've got a different way of navigating, all the same tiles as you've got on the other screen that can run you through those different areas. But let's jump out of there, that is out of the CyberWorks one, and let's jump into Payspace's flavor of ESS. So this is Deel, which is Deel Local Payroll. They've just recently gone through a rebranding. So if I call them Payspace, please bear with me. It's actually Deel with Deel Local Payroll is their rebranded name. And here we go into their system. And now we've got to enter in an interesting password. Okie dokie. And I didn't get it right. The joys. Now, let's move on to Sage. I will come back to that one in a moment once I've had an opportunity to go and have a look through my notes. Okay, so Sage's self-service is, as I said before, is WebSS. Unfortunately, we can't do a live demo of the WebSS because we're just not allowed to. But what we can do is use their demonstrations company. So this is Sage's own demo. And much of a muchness, we have the same idea that we have for all of the employee self-services really, where we have a tile structure or we have a menu structure where we can navigate from. So here, and it's going to kick me back. That's fine. Let's go back in and we're going to go in as an employee at this stage. Okay, so like most of these WebSSs, you get your notifications in an inbox or a notification area. And we have a similar sort of idea here. Here we're having a look and it looks more like an email sort of system as opposed to a notification area, but it works in much the same way. If we want to go apply for leave, we go to the Apply for Leave tab, we click on Submit, we enter a few details, and we can attach some files and we can submit that request for leave. It does show us our balances on the side, which is quite nice. Similarly, we have two areas. We have a travel and we have claims. So this is specifically for travel claims. That is reimbursive travel. So if we open that up, it's reimbursive travel and non-taxable travel. So that one, remember, is if you are reimbursing at a higher rate than the current SARS rate, which is 4.76 at the moment. And then we have a normal claims area where we can submit anything that has been configured on payroll as a valid claim. We also get to be able to view our personal details. So again, much like we've seen before, we have screens where we can jump through and have a look and potentially update depending on what the system has been allowed to do. All of your details are there, your banking details, your contacts, all that sort of fun information is all available to you on the system. And then we get into our leave balances and an approval structure. So one of the things I do really like about this one is that if you are available to have a look, if you want to have a look at where all of these, where your approvers are, who your line manager is, you can see directly from this little screen. It does a little organogram style thing for you. So you can see, well, there I am, and that is my manager. And then it goes to administrator, who is the final, the final approver. So, you get to see a little bit of your workflow, how it's configured. And then if we, it's a little bit slow. If we're going to have a look for a payslip on this system, it's slightly different. You can't access it directly from a tile. You do have to go via your profile. You go to your personal profile and you go to your payslips. And there again, here is a list of all the payslips that are available to you. And you can just download the one that you want to have a look at. So it's all very much of the same thing, which is why I say it's all just flavors. Now, I'm going to stop sharing for one moment while I just go and make sure that I have written down the correct password for my Deel, a local payroll, and then I will reshare in one moment. Humble apologies. I have no idea why I could not type that correctly the first time, or the second time, or apparently the third time. Anyway, moving on. So this is the Deel or Payspace ESS offering. And this one is just a slightly different look and feel. So you don't have the tile effect that you would normally, but you work more on a menu structure down the side here. And you have an inbox or a notification area, which you've seen before, and you have a little bit of basic info that is on your landing page. If we want to go and have a look at probably the most heavily used in all the ESS areas, which is how do we get a payslip, we can click on our payslips link or our payslips over here. We get a list of all the payslips that are available to us. And then we have a view payslip. We have download payslip, and we have an email. So we can email it directly from the system to ourselves, or to perhaps you're applying for a loan for something and you need to send that documentation on to somebody. If we want to have a look at claims, so we're going to go into the claims, and remember this is a demo system, so there is no workflow set up. So there's going to be a big red banner saying there is no workflow set up. So we're going to go add a claim. And there you're going to see what are we going to claim for? Let's go reimbursive travel, and I can now enter my kilometers, I can enter my destination, I can put a description in, these are required fields, and potentially I can select a file and update it and enter a registration number for the vehicle and then save my claim. What is nice on this side or on this specific one is that we can see in progress what claims there have been, what has been completed, and what has been rejected. So that's quite a nice little bit of detail for your claims. You can go through and have a look. These ones are in progress. In other words, they haven't been approved or declined yet. These ones are completed. These ones are, have been declined for whatever reason. Another nice little feature on the Deel one is that we have a compare payslips area. So it looks at whatever your latest payslip is, and then the one directly prior to it. So if we have a look here, if we just, let's try and go the other way. Oh, there we go, that's a bit better. So what we can see here is that we can see the basic pay is exactly the same. All of our allowances, everything has worked out exactly the same. There is a slight variation in the SDL. And if we have a look at, if we go to page 2 on this, we'll see a chart that does exactly the same thing. So it's very easy to see which components have changed if you wanted to know what your component change has been. Perhaps it was an increase, a change in pension provident fund, anything along those lines. Really easy to see what's going on. As far as leave is concerned, so let me just go back again, make it a bit bigger for everybody. If we go into the leave area, we've got all the standard candidates. We've got an application area, we've got a history, and we've got leave balances. We start on our balances. It gives us our entitlement at the top, and then we can see any balances that are due to us. So there's annual leave. As I said, this is demo, so it hasn't been configured correctly. There's no leave due to me at this stage. And what's really nice is, again, gives us a nice little notice where you have a leave policy that says you have 6 months after the end of your leave to take it. It will say to you, there are so many days that are due to expire at the end of X month. So that's quite nice. We also have a calendar. So if you're logged in as a manager, you'll be able to see all the people that report to you in a calendar who have taken leave, as well as any important dates like public holidays, or you can also load custom dates into the system. So if perhaps you're a school, you could load the school holidays and that sort of fun stuff. The actual application for leave, it starts getting really boring when you've showed it 2 or 3 times already. We go through the normal process. We select the leave type, we enter a start date, we enter any comments and a reference. We can attach a file if we want to, and it tells me who this leave application is going to next. So the next approver or the next part of the workflow, it heads off to Daffy Duck. Those of you who are eagle-eyed, you will notice that at this stage we're working as Tom Cruise, and the creator of our dummy payroll or our test payroll clearly likes to watch movies. Moving right along, we also have other areas in the system which again come back to our normal payslip area, our tax certificates, our leave, and one area that we didn't look at on the Psiber side was our performance management. Now, both of these systems do have performance management linked into them, both from the baseline system side as well as the ESS. In our opinion, this performance management system works better, not from the perspective of any procedural thing that happens to be, much better or significantly lacking in one system. However, the reporting from the Deel side is, in our opinion, significantly better. So they all can be set up, they all can work. It's just, if you look at what your resultant is, what you need out of the end of it, we just feel the Deel one works much better, and especially within the confines of the self-service. So basically we have a look here. We can set up a performance appraisal. We can enter our KPIs. You'll see here it says there's no template linked, and that's simply because there is nothing set up for this dummy payroll at the moment. One of the really nice things about this system is the thing called the performance journal. And basically what that allows the user to do, so the end user, the employee, is to record if they went on a course, for argument's sake. They can enter their performance journal here. I went on this course, it was completed, the certificate is attached, and all of that is then kept as an electronic record. And when they do their KPIs, perhaps one of those KPIs is that they have to have attended 3 courses, or they have to have got 50 CPD points or 20 CPD points, whatever it happens to be. And then without having to go through all of their records, they can go to the performance journal and link those things in to that KPI. So that's one of those things that are really nice about this side of the system, or this system in particular. Ladies and gentlemen, without wanting to bore anybody any further, I'm going to stop sharing, but I'm very happy to field any queries about any of these systems at this point. But I feel that we're just now repeating ourselves, looking at the same things over and over again. Are there any questions? Yes. I think you have them, they're still muted. Yeah, okay. So Vangile, can we, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. What is your question?
Oh, okay. Sorry,
now we can hear you.
Sorry, I was muted. Okay, good morning. I wanted to ask, for a person like me who's in HR, am I able to run any reports with regard, especially maybe like leave?
So there are a number of reports in both systems that can be run from a leave perspective. The primary challenge with it is that these systems are designed as a employee, the manager and employee.
Oh.
So normally from an HR perspective, you want to see a whole company.
Yes.
Or you want to see a company department. Now,
Yes.
Those things are generally, all of the systems that we've shown you today, look, the Sage one, potentially you could be using VIP, which would be offline, or Premier, which would be an offline system. But all of the others, and the SCBPPs, the Sage 300s, all of those are online or can be online product. So in those situations, we would rather say, if you're an HR manager or an HR practitioner and you need to see leave records for people or reporting, then you need access to the primary system, not the employee self-service system.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so the long answer to your question is no, the ESS system won't be useful to you from that side, but there should more than enough be, and I'll try that again slowly when my English works, there should be no issue with you being able to access the system, the primary system, to get the reporting that you require.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any further questions? Okay, so we have a question. Can we store employee records on the ESS system? Okay, so the short answer to that is yes, but it is not a file system or a record keeping scenario. Generally, the access to the ESS side of this would be for the employee to store that records. So most of these systems have the facility for you to put company policies, that kind of thing, which would be available for everybody to look at or download. Obviously, nobody can go and edit those. And some of them even will allow you areas where the person can upload stuff like on the performance journal, where the employee can upload information to store. But as a general rule, you're looking more along the lines of having access to the primary system. Both Payspace and Psiber allow you areas to store documentation related to the employee. So copies of ID, employment contracts, pretty much anything really that you want to store, with obviously within certain size limits per file. But yeah, that's not really an ESS function again. Does it answer your question, Janine? Excellent. Right. Any further questions? Let's get the ball rolling. Thank you very much, Lee. So I was just saying she has no questions. Thank you. Excellent. If there are no further questions, then we don't want to hold everybody up. We'll give you your extra 15 minutes back again. Thank you very much for your time this morning. Thank you, Tshidi, and thank you, Charlene. Oh, Sibongile, I see your hand up again.
No, it was maybe the old hand. I didn't put it down.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that.
No worries at all. Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time today. We look forward to seeing you on the next one. Well, I won't be seeing you on the next one, but some of these a little bit later on down the line. Yeah, we look forward to seeing you. We've got a couple of interesting ones coming up. Obviously, we've got a tax one coming up because it's that sort of time of the year. But thank you very much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day.